Discover the transformative power of Zen and the art of NLP. A lot more success with a lot less stress on Transformation Talk Radio. Every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, Dr. Steve Simpson combines the principles of Zen philosophy with the techniques of neuro-linguistic programming to help you achieve your goals with ease and tranquility. Whether you're seeking personal growth, professional development, or improved relationships, this show offers practical strategies and insights to navigate life's challenges with a calm and focused mindset. Get ready to embrace a new level of success and serenity. Zen and the art of NLP starts now.
It certainly does start now, today, because one of our greatest gifts is probably the one you never think about. It's all about balancing the three main parts of your brain. Your lizard brain is the most important because this is where most of your thoughts start and often finish. Get this right and you will glide through life like a swan on a calm lake. Get this wrong, and your life might be a never-ending series of tropical storms. So let's not do that. I'm Dr. Steve Simpson, and you are listening to Zen and the Art of NLP on Transformation Talk Radio. Every week, we will choose a topic highlighting a core skill of neuro-linguistic programming, known as NLP, because we believe in your potential to grasp and apply these concepts in your life. How do we know? Because you're here. As long as you watch or listen or both, we'll take care of the rest. And stay to the end, of course. The three foundations of NLP are 1, modeling excellence, 2, using effective language patterns, and 3, learning how to connect to the massive power of the unconscious mind, mainly through hypnosis, although there are other routes. These foundations form the basis of NLP and are crucial for understanding its principles and techniques. Now, we'll also explore Zen philosophies. Zen is a state of calmness, attentiveness, and inner peace. It shares a common goal with NLP to enhance personal development and improve communication skills massively. Someone with a Zen attitude approaches a situation calmly and with a focused awareness, because this is the home of peak performance and the source of massive results. Today's headline topic is the power of understanding why your brain can get you into trouble. And the part of the brain that can get you into the most trouble is your reptile brain, sometimes called your lizard brain. And I got 3 quotes about this that I've dug out. Number 1, do you know what celebrity Hank Green thought about lizards? He said, the path to success isn't through my lizard brain, it's through high-quality collaboration and making good stuff and understanding difficult situations fully enough to come up with good or even great solutions quickly. Is he right? Well, we might find out. Certainly a long sentence, so Mr. Hank. Do you know what actor Udo Kier thought about lizards? He said, I've got a ranch, and when I sit there and I see a little lizard and birds, I really love what I see, and I'm in love with nature. That's always a great place to start. And finally, do you know what musician Trevor Dunn thought about lizards? He said, I feel akin to the platypus, an orphan in a family, a swimmer, a recluse, part bird, part fish, part lizard. I reckon he could be on the money there. We'll find out. And the source of these 3 inspirational quotes is from brainyquote.com. So stay with us for the next 30 minutes and let us help you experience that sweet spot of mind, body, and soul to embrace a new level of success and serenity, helping you achieve a lot more success with a lot less stress, because I think that's what most of us would like. Please post your questions and comments, and I'll do my best to answer them in the final part of the show. You can also call us now on our live call-in number, 1-800-930-2819. This is your chance to engage directly with the topic and share your thoughts with our audience. Reminding you, the headline topic today is the power of understanding why your brain can get you into trouble. I think we're now ready for our next adventure, and we will dive deep into the swamps. The swamps. I warn you that you may never think the same way about yourself again. So you've got two choices. You can turn back, or you can be brave. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Sometimes that works. So anyway, let's get started right now, as long as you're still here. The step one of the three today is learning how our brain works and also how our brain develops, because this can help us achieve a lot more success with a lot less stress. Back a few years ago, one of the first things I learned at medical school was how a healthy human baby develops in the mother's womb. I was introduced to, I have to say, too many long words and complicated anatomy, so I didn't enjoy this subject too much, apart from one thing. One of the lecturers explained that as the baby develops, it passes through many evolutionary steps, including the development of its brain. At various times of its development, the brain resembles a fish, then a reptile brain, and at other times a bird brain, until finally it's a human brain. In later years as a surgeon, I saw first-hand clinical evidence that supported this evolutionary developmental view. Occasionally, we discover that a patient has pouches in their throat. Normally, these pouches are incidental findings on X-rays, but occasionally they can become blocked with food particles and become infected. This condition requires urgent surgical intervention. So what are these pouches? They're remnants of the gills that fish use to breathe, and there are many other similar examples that exist in our bodies. I relate these seemingly unconnected anecdotes to emphasize that when we visit the swamp, we will understand more about what we think about and where these thoughts come from. The brain can be subdivided into three main areas. This is a very a simplistic approach, of course, but each are linked to the evolutionary process that I mentioned. The outside layer of the brain is called the neocortex. That's because it's new. It's the most recent development and only developed about 2 million years ago, which isn't long ago. This is the part of the brain where we do all of our conscious thinking. This is the place where we make pictures and we listen to words and analyze information. It's the bit of the brain that makes us intelligent, or so we say. The problem is that most of the pictures and words we invent are unreal. They're hallucinations, yet they're so detailed that we believe they are real. And that's why we love talking about these things to ourselves and to others. Many of these artificial constructs are innocent lies. Unfortunately, this is the conscious part of the brain where you and I spend most of our time, surrounded by these slithering untruths. If we dig a little deeper into the brain, we'll find what's called the limbic system. This is the home of our emotions, our instincts, and beliefs. In contrast to our neocortex, this is not a creative part of the brain. Much of it's hardwired and therefore difficult, if not impossible, to reprogram. Just as well, many of these neurochemical functions are concerned with babies, making babies, feeding them, and protecting them until they eventually become adults. As many parents know, this cycle can last 50 years or more. Humans spend more time nurturing their young than any other species, and much of this behavior is unconsciously programmed. Step 2 of 3 is learning more about our reptile brain and why it can get us into so much trouble. If you're brave enough, we can dig a little deeper, and it may not come as a total surprise to know that we are now at the reptilian level of the brain, also known as the basal ganglia. This area started to develop in fish about 500 million years ago, and it continued its development in amphibians and reached its final stage in reptiles about 250 million years ago, many millions of years before our ancestors emerged. Perhaps also not surprisingly, the reptilian brain is where our most primitive instincts live. Many are directly concerned with our survival and how we respond to threats. It's the home of aggression. how we protect our territory, and the ritual displays we use to get our own way. And these behaviors go back at least 500 million years. If we wish to avoid trouble in life, this model of our brain will be very important indeed. It will literally turn your head upside down. It may come as a shock to know that most of the thinking you're aware of is not actually being created in the most recently developed and intelligent part of your brain, yet you believe that it is. Because in reality, almost all of our thoughts arise from the swamp. Of course, they will be filtered and processed by the higher layers of your brain. This sanitation exercise is essential to all of us, as one of the secrets of our success as a species is that we've evolved as social animals. If people really knew what we were thinking about them, we would have few, if any, friends. Knowing where your thoughts come from is a huge advantage, often not fully recognized. This knowledge will help you to understand why you are sometimes out of control and help you to find a better place in your brain to move to when necessary. The experts tell us that we have at least 70,000 thoughts every day, and they may well be right, but I suspect that we have a lot more than this. What is certain is that it is not physically possible for so many thoughts to enter our conscious mind. And this is good news because it means we have a degree of control over which formless thoughts we allow to take shape and become good ideas. And we also know, hopefully, which thoughts to suppress. The most valuable thoughts are those that rise from the swamp as unpolished diamonds. We've got millions every day to choose from, but very often in the field of peak performance, less is more, which is why overthinking, overplanning, and being overcritical will stifle your source of creativity. It does take courage to change the habits of a lifetime, literally, but it can be done. To remind you, you are listening to Zen and the Art of NLP with me, Dr. Steve Simpson. We're going to take a swift break, but before we do that, take a moment to think about these 4 big questions. Question number 1, what is your greatest gift? Question number 2, what's the one thing that you desire the most? Question 3, what is the one thing that is stopping you from achieving? Better find out this one. Number 4, perhaps the most important, what's the one thing that you want to share with others? And one of the reasons why this is so important is because when we move away from our own ego, me, into you, others, help, coming from a giving place, we raise our frequencies without even knowing it. And we know from quantum physics that if there's a frequency one side of the planet, there's going to be the same frequency on the other side of the planet or even the universe. So somebody out there is going to resonate with you. And there's a good chance that good things might happen. When we return, step 3 of 3 is learning how you can get a new job. And it's learning how to be a lizard trainer, a very rewarding profession. Value the simplicity of the lizard's view of the world and how to balance this gift with the ability to extinguish its more violent and inappropriate responses to perceived threats. Trust me, this is a lot easier than it might sound, as we say every week. Stay tuned. We will be right back, helping you achieve a lot more success with a lot less stress. And we are right back. I hope you enjoyed pondering those 4 big questions during the break. And I've got another big question for you now. Please email me and tell me how you answered those 4 questions and which, if any, I can help you with. My address is doc@drstephensimpson.com. I'd like to use this as content for a future show, and in return, you will help others struggling with the same issues. Because when you help others, you raise your frequencies and receive many gifts from the universe in return. You can also be anonymous. If so, tell me this in your note. As I'll explain shortly, I will send you a free gift in return for your answers to the 4 big questions. Now, how exciting is that? The best way to find out more about me and my work, and I hope you do, is to check out my website, drstephensimpson.com. Sign up for my free weekly newsletter, that's an extra free thing, and discover plenty of other free stuff to explore, including the Zen Doctor and Poker Genius podcast channels, which are continuing their surge up the charts as we speak. If you feel rich, and I hope you do, and I hope you soon will be rich, you can also purchase some great books, hypnotic audio books, and coaching programs. And as you would expect, I confidently recommend any of my products on my website. A good place to start would be the Zen Guided Meditation audio book. And this is my free gift to you in return for your answers to the 4 big questions. Here are a few more details about what this audio book's all about. I learned how to meditate at the age of 21, and I'm still learning. And that was probably one of the best decisions I made, certainly at that age, because it turned out to be one of the most valuable investments of my time and money. Meditation and hypnosis are very similar, altered mind states. This audio book contains elements of both and will change the way you think in a good way. I compose the background music, this music I use on this show as well, by the way, and it's definitely hypnotic. It has sold many thousands of copies. So if you listen to this audiobook daily, and you will be calmer and make better decisions. After 1 month, you'll notice the difference, and your family and your friends will notice the difference even more. Step 3 of 3, the final step, is learning how to get this fantastic job of being a lizard trainer. And I'm going to tell you a story about my acting career. I can tell you I don't do any acting anymore, and there aren't many stories to tell, but this is a good one because I had a great part for a change, and it was to play Charles Darwin in a TV documentary series. And the highlight of the series was to do some filming with a dragon lizard. I was hoping to go to the Galapagos Islands. I wasn't quite right there. We shot the scene on a cold April day on the south coast of Kent, which is in England. There were 2 zookeepers there, and they wanted to have a chat with me first. They said, come over to the van and we're going to introduce you to Annie. Okay. And they say, it's very important that she gets to like you. I said, good. How are we going to do that? They said, don't worry, we'll show you when we get there. So they opened these 2 big doors of the van. There's a big cage inside, and there is this huge lizard, which has got big, big teeth and talons. That's all I could see. And he said, you see that little hatch on the top? He said, you got to lift that up, and slowly you've got to put your arm in, and you've got to stroke Annie on the side of her cheek. And if she likes you, she'll close her eye. And I said, in a sort of a trembling voice, I was trying to be brave, what happens if Annie doesn't like me? They said, that's why there's 2 of us here. So I didn't have a lot of confidence, but I couldn't get out of it at this stage. So I did what I was asked to do. And good old Annie, she closed that eye, and she was an absolute star. In fact, she stole all of my limelight, not that I had very much. But I've thought about Annie many times since. And several years later, I came to a game-changing conclusion. I recognize that almost all of my work with clients targets the unconscious mind, and particularly the reptile brain. While the idea of a distinct reptilian brain in humans remains controversial, the model of the brain structures this term refers to has advantages, not least because it's simple. If I tried to explain complex neuroanatomy and neurophysiology, which I do know about, I've had to study that, my clients would rush to the nearest door or window. However, they can always relate to the concept of a lizard brain. To put it mildly, it helps them understand why some of their life decisions are not very helpful. But put this into the context of a primitive part of our brain, and it becomes understandable and even forgivable. This transformational insight can also help them to moderate these reflex actions and become more Zen-like in their approach to the challenges of everyday life. While crucial for our well-being, our reptile brain can definitely lead to some downsides, and these include impulsive decisions. The focus on immediate needs can lead to rash actions. We might blurt something out in anger or prioritize instant gratification over long-term goals. Difficulty with long-term planning. The reptilian brain isn't great at complex thought or considering future consequences. This can make sticking to diets, saving money, or working towards long-term goals challenging. Any of this sound familiar? does to me, heightened stress response, the fight or flight reaction, essential for survival in danger, can be triggered by everyday stressors. This can lead to anxiety, difficulty relaxing, and even physical health problems. And we don't need any of those, thank you very much. However, it's important to remember that the reptilian brain works with the more developed parts of the brain as well. By consciously using our reasoning and foresight, we can mitigate these downsides, and the potential upsides can be great. It's got basic survival instincts. This includes things like hunger, thirst, fear, and reproduction. These drives are crucial for staying alive and for passing on our genes. Quick reflexes. The reptilian brain is wired for fast, automatic responses to stimuli. This is essential for avoiding danger or catching prey. Habit formation. The basal ganglia, a part of the reptilian brain, as we mentioned, is involved in forming habits and routines. This can help conserve energy and ensure essential tasks are completed. It's brilliant for motivation, and if you're feeling unmotivated, the answer is there. You just got to find it somehow. And the big question is, how can I maximize the advantage of using my reptile brain while minimizing the disadvantages? Find an answer to this question, which will catapult your performance to at least the next level. I can help you with this, but I can't do it for you. It will take some of your commitment and tenacious persistence. It's very simple, but do not underestimate its power because of that. And then you will learn how to reinvent yourself as a lizard trainer, and this is what it's going to take. When confronted by any challenging situation, give yourself at least 2 seconds, and preferably more, to think before you do or say anything. Tip 2, say to yourself something like, I'll try this to start with, and then you find your own words. Say to yourself, this is rather nice. What a wonderful, ambiguous statement that is. Part of NLP for sure. And then take proactive action rather than reactive. In other words, you've assessed the situation, you've been proactive, and the chances are that that decision is going to be an awful lot better than it might have been. And the result is that you've sedated your reptile brain and engaged with the wisdom of the higher levels of consciousness, because this is the easy way to a lot more success with a lot less stress. Being a successful lizard trainer is a skill that takes practice. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress as you complete each of these baby steps. It's a great career. There's no shortage of lizards to train. You travel to warm, exotic locations, and if you're lucky, you get paid for the pleasure. We've got a few questions. We might have time for one or two. Luke wants to know, are you suggesting that the reptile brain is more important than the higher centers of consciousness? Well, I guess I could be, to be honest. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but even if it's not the most important, it's certainly up there because that's where our thoughts start. Charlotte wants to know, how do you think the COVID and lockdown affected us all? Great question, and we might even have to have a whole show on this because I can tell you, as far as I'm concerned, COVID has affected all of us. A few lucky people, they've had a great time during COVID, but most people struggled, and the people with least struggled the most. So hopefully we'll never have to go back to those things. If you don't believe me, then remember back going to the supermarkets and trying to buy stuff and the way some people were behaving. Panic. And that's because their lizard brain was fired up. Kai wants to know, rather than saying to myself, this is rather nice, to avoid being reactive, can I use my own words instead? You certainly can. Choose something that is ambiguous, make it like a bit of a joke, like this is rather nice. It's not very nice at all when somebody cuts you up in traffic or slams the door in your face, but you have to kind of fool the lizard brain saying, there's more important things in life, quite frankly, let's move on. Anyway, now it's time for the Zen and the Art of NLP top tip of the week. And it's as we've just been saying, when confronted by any here, any challenging situation, give yourself at least 2 seconds to think before you do anything, because this is one of the easy ways to a lot more success with a lot less stress. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a great program lined up for you on the same day, at the same time, and at the same place next week. Can't wait. Be there and invite all your friends and family and everybody else too, even the people you don't like. Who knows, you might even get to enjoy their company because much stranger things have happened. So let's all raise the vibration of ourselves and our world to a higher frequency because it certainly needs it. This was what we can do to help. Finally, don't forget to check out my website, drstephensimpson.com. Sign up for my free weekly newsletter and discover plenty of other great stuff too. And don't forget, please, to send me your answers to the big 4 questions posted just before the break. Thanks for joining us on the show. I look forward to meeting you all again next week. There's a chance we might be talking about the pineal gland, and when Big Pharma gets interested in that, so should we. In the meantime, meet many exciting new people, make massive progress on your projects, and most importantly, have almost too much fun. Goodbye for now.
You have been listening to the Zen and Art of NLP. A lot more success with a lot less stress. Tune in every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we dive into the depths of your unconscious mind and awaken your intuition, unlocking hidden talents and supercharging your personal and professional relationships. Continue embarking on a stress-free journey towards unparalleled success by subscribing to future episodes and stay updated on the latest content. Easily share these captivating shows with your loved ones and create meaningful connections. Book a personal session with Dr. Steve Simpson to delve deeper into the topics that resonate with you. You can visit his website at drstephensimpson.com.